Okay, g'day again. Alright, well, I have managed to get the top half of the inlet manifold off. Oh, what a drama that was. And firstly, right at the back here, this bolt that went in just there, I rounded it, trying to get it off. And I was just using a normal 12-point socket, and there wasn't room to get a ring spanner in there, and because I already ran a ring spanner, would have just continued around it anyway. So I had to then go into town and get myself a 6-point or hexagon impact socket, and to get the bolt out. And then the first went to put it in there, put it on the nut, and I dropped it, and it fell down in here, in behind the fuel injector. And I could barely just sort of get my finger in there. I could just sort of touch the top of it. Couldn't grab it. Couldn't even see it from anywhere, because the unit manifold's coming right up over the top of this. And I fiddled and fiddled and fiddled, and I spent about an hour trying to get this friggin' socket out. And eventually I got a bit of wire. Just a bit of wire here, put a hook in it, and and this is the socket. I got the bit of wire. I managed to jam it down, right down through the socket, so it hooked on it, and I was able to pull it back out again. But yeah, good hour and a half took me just trying to get that friggin' socket out from underneath it. A freaking pain in the bum. Anyway, even then, probably if I hadn't have bought a long socket, might have been easier, I suppose. But long sockets are handy, and I thought, well, if I'm going to buy an impact socket, I'll buy a long one. But yeah, that actually worked against me, because you've got this. I might even cut this bit off too. It's not necessary. This square chunk sticking out the back. I don't know what the hell that's for, but it's just totally unnecessary. And as I said, I did manage to get it undone, no problem, but it still wasn't sitting squarely on the bolt because of this big chunk of alloy sticking out the side. So anyway, as I said, I'm contemplating cutting that bit off, or just cutting the corner off a little bit so the socket can go on there a bit better. But, yeah, anyway, and then I got that off. Of course, I've inspected the gasket, which they want $60 for a new one. I haven't got $60. So I'm going to have to make one. Hopefully I can get a bit of gasket paper in that length. See, most times when you get gasket paper, it's only like A4 size, like foolscap paper size. So don't know how I'm going to go with that, but anyway, I'll sort that out tomorrow when I get in town. Yeah, this, I suspect it had a rust hole in it, which it doesn't, but yeah, it's pretty rusty. It's probably not far from having a hole in it somewhere. I suspected it had got a hole through one of these welds or something, but hasn't. So it must have been just leaking, out of the hoses here, running down the pipe, dripping off. So it's actually, let's grab the torch for a sec. See how the coolant's sitting in there? And it's been running, down around the rocker cover, dripping off the other side. So, yeah, And yeah, this here was a pain to get out too. I did manage to get it. I didn't have an open end spanner that fitted it, because I've only got metric open ends, and this is a weird car. Everything on the body's metric, but everything on the engine's imperial. Engine, gearbox, stiff, they're all imperial, but everything on the body's metric. So yeah, bit of a weird car. But yeah, I didn't have the right size open ender to screw that out. That's this fitting here. So, and it was majorly tight. So I've used this shifter here. That's easy a foot long. Doesn't look it on the camera, but it is. And even then I had to stick a bit of pipe over it, get a bit of leverage, and yeah, 50 repositions of the, put it on, turn a little bit, flip the spanner over the other way, turn a little bit, flip it back again, turn it a bit, and yeah, actually come out. But oh, excuse me. But yeah, this pipe really needs to be replaced, and I'm sort of doubtful as to whether I could even get one in Australia anyway. I'd probably have to send America, and it's expensive, and I don't have money for it. I've got too many other things that need money spent on them. So, and yeah, it doesn't need to go through there anyway. This to me is a really poor design. It's poor using steel for heater pipe to start with. Yeah, well that's probably, it's lasted 30 years, but even so, if I was designing this, there's no way I'd run, coolant for a steel pipe. You just, creating a problem. But yeah, it doesn't need to go under there anyway, It's like the reason they'd have run steel pipe is so that it's not banging around on your injectors and that sort of thing, or making a noise. But it doesn't need to go under there. It's actually a pain having it go under there, because anytime you need to do something or get your hands down the back of the engine here, everything is in the way, and you're disturbing everything, and creating problems by trying to push things out of the way. And so I'm going to just go and buy some longer heater hoses and run one straight from down here straight up, and which I'll have to probably even use this, although it's only got a flange on one side, but I'll see how it goes. I've used straight pipe before when joining heater hoses. I've never actually had one blow out, but anyway, see how we go. I might even look at the hardware. I gotta go in town tomorrow anyway, and let's see if I can get a bit of pipe like this with an outlet. But yeah, because I'll have to run that other hose. That other hose goes into the manifold over here somewhere. It's either for heating or cooling or something. And like even this one, what I'm going to do here, just for now, is I'm going to cut it off here. There's actually a little bit of a flange there, not like, it's probably more of a kink actually. But I'm going to cut it off just here, and instead of running it, back up under, and I'll just turn it out here. There's plenty of room, and run the heater hose straight off that. What I will look at doing, because that's pretty rusty too, but all of these threads, they look like just standard plumbing fittings. Like these two pieces here look like a standard plumbing fitting anyway. So, but anyway, I'm going to test all the threads and see if I can remake this whole thing out of copper and brass or something, so that I don't get rust issues in the future. But anyway, that's the plan. I'm going to bypass it and run just the heater hoses up around the top, get them right out of the way. I do have an issue with pressure in my sump. Let's switch this light on. You see the amount of oil everywhere. That's like dripping out of the throttle body. It's all over the top up here. There's a hose goes on the top. It comes out through that hole you can see in the wall of the throttle body. That's the breather that goes to the rocker cover. But yeah, it shouldn't be pumping that much oil out of it. So and that was the other reason why I had to replace the sump gasket. It had blown the gasket out between the bolts. So I've obviously got too much pressure getting in there. You can see it in here actually. See how much oil's in the inlet manifold? Heaps and heaps of it. It's a wonder it hasn't flailed me plugs actually. But, there could be. This is the PCV pressure control valve, and from what I can gather, I see on other videos and that, that if you shake it up and down it rattles, it's alright, it's working. So it appears as though it's working, but because this rubber's pretty cactus too. Let's see if I can actually just get the rubber tomorrow, new rubber. But yeah, that could well be because I could hear a vacuum leak and the idle's been running a bit rough. So it could have actually been from there. Could also be there's a block off hose here that's actually a bit loose. Could have been leaking out of there. Could have been leaking out of the gasket. There's a number of places there might be splitting one of these hoses or something. I don't know. But anyway, a bit more investigation into that. And I'll try to tighten that up. I might actually see when I go into town tomorrow. Should be able to get a blanking plug put over that, which would be a better idea. I just noticed there's also a kink in this pipe. I'll get the pipe scoops onto that and open that up a bit. That's the one that goes to my brake booster. That can't be helping things either. It's probably not blocked, but obviously it isn't blocked or I wouldn't have my booster working at all. But yeah, the kink's probably not helping things. So yeah, still a little bit of investigation to go and a bit of work to be done. Underneath the PCV actually there's a filter. I'm going to try and pull that out. It's right up the back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you where the camera is, because it took me a while to figure out where that actually is. Let's see. Can we pick it up with the camera? Probably not. Try to find it. Yeah, you can just see it taken out from behind the top of the manifold. See that round bit? That's where your PCV is, pressure control valve. But yeah, there is a filter in there, so I'm going to pull that out, wash that with fluid, because that may be causing the problem. There's a hose that was hanging off up here, which I thought that must be where the vacuum leak was coming from. I was reaching under here trying to find something to plug it into, but there wasn't anything. And I've since remembered that I actually disconnected that. That's what disconnected, and I blanked it off. That ran to the cruise control, and when I did the engine swap in this car from 6 to V8, I've obviously done something wrong, either in how I wired it up or in the vacuum hoses. I've done something wrong anyway, because it was, if you switched it on, the moment you touch the throttle, it would just go to full throttle. So that's why it's disconnected. It was disconnected from there, and it was also disconnected from the throttle body. But yeah, I really should look into that. I'd love to have the cruise control working again on this. It was working when it was a 6, it worked really well. But yeah, obviously I haven't done something right. But yeah, I'd love to have it working again. This is one thing that I really don't like about this car. It's really difficult to maintain a speed. You're always backing off, powering on, backing off, powering on, constantly watching your speedo. And it's just a pain in the bum. Some cars will just sit on speed really easy, but this doesn't. So it'd be a real bonus to have the cruise control working again. But anyway, and that's, sometime down the track hopefully. But in the meantime, I need to get this manifold back in and get rid of this coolant leak. Anyway, that will do me for now. I think I've rambled on enough. So hit the like please, and thanks for watching. See you at the next one. Bye.